thousands. I've talked to hundreds that I deal with still myself. I have 3 victims right now who are willing to give testimony about not only what Mr. Carter has done to them, but his wife as well. They're a nasty little couple. They do nasty things.
What do you think happened with Kim Porter?
Keeping people against their will. Putting people on planes while they're unconscious, just like Aaliyah got on that plane. Unconscious. There's a lot of things that people don't want to talk about, Piers.
Listen, like I said, Jay-Z and Beyonce are not here, unfortunately, to respond to that.
I know. I'm just being honest with you.
You're perfectly entitled to your views, obviously. Kim Porter,
yes.
A new book claims that Diddy may have been involved in her early death. What do you think of that?
I think people should really look into that more. I am friends with Albie Shore. I love him. I love his children. I knew Kim. We used to all hang out together at the Kit Kat Club back in the mid-90s when Diddy was first starting his reign. I watched that whole thing happen. And everything that Albert has been through, every attempt on his life that has been ignored by the authorities, it all leads back to Diddy. And everyone knows it. The wiretapping of the phones, putting air tag on children during visits. These are normal practices that these people do.
Well, Jaguar Wright is known to be a conspiracy theorist. I don't really co-sign anything that she says. I've never had her on my show, and I don't have any plans to have her on my show.
You don't believe her?
She's got an album in 20 years, and a lot of this stuff is just stuff she's heard, things she's making up, and so forth.
I also want to address Mr. Vlad, who I know to be a culture vulture, who takes from the Black community and doesn't give back and puts artists in situations where then they are indicted by the police. Mrs. Wright has said, I thought was completely out of line. He can say he doesn't agree, which is fine. But for him to be someone who constantly uses the Black community and uses them as a means for his platform, I thought that was very inconsiderate and unprofessional.
Did you hear what she said?
Yeah.
Why did I said allegedly? He makes me feel like he's a handler. They send him to certain people to interview. And then she said what happens to him. They get arrested.
Yeah, they get indicted, arrested. He is probably a FBI informant. This really boiled my blood over the weekend. And we was talking about it offline. So she, you know, we could say, oh, she has this outlandish claims. I believe Jaguar, you know, even though her approach may not fit for, I believe a lot of people do not appreciate Jaguar Wright approach to this type of situation, but it's her. This is her claims, her accounts, her experience between her interaction with Puff Daddy or Sean Diddy Combs, whoever you want to call him. She also incriminated or made claims about Jay-Z and, you know, a whole bunch of people in the music industry.
But isn't that always the way? Don't we always criticize the messenger and disregard the message?
We criticize the messenger and disregard the message. So this is her claim. And then we're going to look at what DJ Vlad had to say about what she said on this show. And you guys, I got it on 1.25 speed because I don't want to take too much of your time. Okay.
And his cohorts are all held to account publicly and legally. The victims, they're not safe.
How bad was it?
That's what I care about. I care about the victims.
No, I understand. How bad was it, do you think? What was going on?
I'm going to tell you right now that me, as a woman who has been in the industry for over 30 years, I've been performing live since I was 13. My first handler was McKinley Horton. I come to find out 25 years later that a scar that was on his face with a very elaborate story he gave me was put there by a woman who he assaulted. To live through these things and hear your elders in the business, People like Patti LaBelle say, just avoid him, honey. And being taught to be just avoid him, honey. It's not good enough. Not when you live through these things, you're still suffering the PTSD created by all of this, and you're talking to a victim that's 20 years younger than you, and she's telling you the exact same thing that happened to you.
Right. There's been a lot of rumor mill about what has happened in the rap world. A lot of allegations that the misogyny in the lyrics clearly was based on a general misogyny towards women away from the music. And that clearly seems to have been borne out by these charges against Diddy, which if he's found guilty of all this, he's never coming out of prison. How dangerous do you think?
Thank God.
How dangerous do you think he is as a person?
I think he's one of the most dangerous people I've ever met. A lot of people have been questioning, well, she doesn't really know him. She has no knowledge of him. She doesn't have a picture with him. I'm smarter than Claudia Jordan. I would never take a picture with the devil.
Girl, pause it right there. Did she say she's smarter than Claudia Jordan?
Yeah.
I feel the clapbacks on Fox Soul coming.
She
are
did
coming.
clap. She clapped back. She did clap back. But there is a picture of Jay-Z and Jaguar Wright when she was younger. And I guess she was like prime in her music career. So I have found that. But yeah, I don't know why she would say that, but
Girl,
but she
that
likes to
takes
stir
me
the
out.
pot. you know.
Well, first of all, I can't tell no lie. Claudia Jordan, she is very messy,
Mhm.
so I think people take their shots at her when they can and when they have the ability to. And I got Jaguar, she know how to engage the audience and place things to make you think and to make you want to listen to her when she comes on that screen.
Yeah.
Everyone knew he was the devil. He's been the devil for 30 years. He's been covered and protected by not only Clive Davis, but Lucian Grange. He was selected to be the demon that he is to keep the culture in line so the industry could continue to rape it for all of its precious jewels. We have too many lost. The list of lost is ridiculous. And everyone knows Diddy was selected for this job. He's the Judas.
Do you think that if he's cornered in the way that he's been now, that he may start revealing things about other people?
He has no choice. His ego and his drug addiction won't allow him to do anything different. Still find value in him. He's got everybody on tape. They all know it.
I had to pause it right here.
Wait, why? Like, for me, when I look at her on the screen,
Mhm.
I don't feel like she is any way, shape, or form lying. It's the conviction with which she says what she says. And the very fact that she don't put allegedly in front of what she says.
Because she had firsthand account with this freak golf parties, and she does say she was her handler. She was a sex worker at one point. And I think she gets to talk about this, and then she mentioned Jay-Z, and Piers Morgan has to cut off saying these people are not here to defend themselves or whatever. But I believe her, even though she might say some outlandish things. I really believe her, because like you said, she has that spirit of conviction. She's very passionate about it, and I don't think you could fake that. I don't think this is. I mean, you have to be a really trained actor to do this, and she's not trained in acting. I just believe her off her accounts.
She just, I'm gonna say this, she just scares me, because the more she talks, the more you find out. She dropped another name, somebody named Lucian.
Lucian. Lucian is, yeah, he's a record producer. He owns. I watched this video and he kind of put and when I get time, I'm gonna put the mappings together of how he's intertwined with Bad Boys Entertainment, and I believe it was Warner Brothers. But
The very thing that I was telling you all about, this is how that started. Okay, you don't have to believe me, but I'm telling you,
so
this is
Lucian,
how Javar. This is how that started with that letter, with that cease and desist letter.
yeah, so Lucian Grain, he's a British record executive, and I misspoke. I said what did I say? The other record company is actually Universal. Warner.
Okay.
It was actually Universal. He was the CEO of Universal.
And so now did he step down from Universal, or is he still there, or what?
I think he's no longer working in that capacity.
Okay. But yeah, I
so
feel like every time she speaks, there are
more people that she incriminates,
but names that
allegedly.
you haven't heard. You know what I'm saying? Like, his name is the first name that I've heard spoken, and it's by her. But then, like, days later, you'll see this other stuff come out that she said, that had never been spoken, be confirmed.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, I agree with Q. They have painted her to be crazy, but she's been talking about this for the past 5 years.
You said she might be in danger. There's a video on YouTube. I'm not going to play that video, but it's basically Jaguar Wright gets a disturbing call from Ray J, claiming that's a $500,000 bounty on her head.
I saw that that thing.
So that's allegedly. I don't know how true that is, but
right.
So but
wow. Okay.
Yeah.
For those who were never at these freak-off parties, what were they like?
See, this is the thing. Everything that I'm about to say to you is not my firsthand knowledge. It is my firsthand witness account experience. I was a sex worker. I was a dominatrix before I got my record deal. That's how I know how the dark world and the sex world and the entertainment world run hand in hand. That's why the movie Blink Twice is so important. Salute to Zoe Kravitz. The sex workers that I have worked with throughout the years and continue to work with even to this day have worn hidden cameras. I have my own tapes. I've seen what they do. The ritualistic behaviors, the drugging, putting girls in the suitcases, dumping them in alleyways. It's horrifying. And it's all done under the protection of, this is going to be paid off. There's another NDA. It's terrible.
It seems to have been something that a lot of people knew about, but people were simply too scared to talk about.
Everyone knows. And every person that's sitting there trying to act surprised knows very well. The whole point of this, like Cat Williams said when he sat with Shay Shay earlier this year, the whole point of this is for them in a coordinated effort to pretend like none of it is real for the public's perception. But everyone knows what's going on, and it's been going on for years. It's been going on before Diddy. See, people keep looking at him like he's a Sputnik that came out of nowhere. This is someone who was designed to be what he is. We got to stop making Diddies. And if we're going to do that, then we got to go back. We got to go back to even further, the mentors of these people. Because Diddy was taught how to do what he does systematically. And Clive Davis has been his greatest teacher.
Look, Clive Davis is not here to respond to that. Jaguar,
Guess they're on vacation.
If this goes to court, Jaguar, do you think that the world is going to be shocked by what comes out?
Oh, absolutely. I just don't know why they are. It's been happening in front of everyone's faces for decades. for decades.
How many victims?
What's the difference between me and Judy Garland? Social media.
How many victims?
There was none for her.
How many victims potentially do you think there could be?
Thousands. Thousands. I've talked to hundreds that I deal with still myself.
Jaguar, I've got to leave it there. I really appreciate you joining me. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having
Let me tell you, they scrubbed this video. So whoever is with Jay-Z, his people, they took this out. They took the Jay-Z part out of this video. I literally just watched this video 2 weeks ago, and she said Jay-Z, actually Beyonce, loaded a person onto a plane that was drugged.
Oh, wow.
That's what she said in this video, and they took it out. So either they called him and said, hey, you better take it out or we're going to sue you for defamation or whatever. But it's gone.
Wow.
Because I literally just watched it.
I bet you it's on TikTok. I bet you somebody got it on TikTok. Let me go to TikTok right quick. Keep talking. I bet you it's on TikTok.
So now her accounts and her claims, I believe they're true. I believe that, you know, you can't make something like this up and feel like, you know, you're you know, to say in such passionate way. And that's why I believe her claims. Now, do we like the way she's saying it? Probably not. But okay, we wasn't listening to her before. We called her crazy, but now she's not so crazy now because Diddy just was arrested about 3 weeks ago for all the claims that she said he was doing. So we can't just discount saying she's a crazy person. So this leads me to Vlad, DJ Vlad. He was also on Piers more.
What did I tell you? Didn't I say?
Found it?
Didn't I say?
Okay.
They got
I'll
it
let
on
you share.
TikTok. Hold on.
Okay.
Let me make sure.
Okay.
for me because for 4 years I've
It's
been
an echo.
screaming, not just Diddy, but Diddy
Hold on.
and Jay-Z.
I'm gonna cut my mic.
Monsters.
Okay.
And the victim making machine kept going on.
Jay-Z has been notable by his silence since these charges were brought against Diddy. Why do you think that is?
Because that's what he does. A response that changes now, Sean. You must respond. You have no choice. Harvey Weinstein, Jeffrey Epstein, Robert Kelly, Sean Combs have one person in common, professionally and privately. Sean Carter. This has been a fist of tyranny that has been punching through our culture and our society for decades. It must stop.
You can clearly see that the video was scrubbed because that fist part was not even in the part that you showed, but you could hear Piers say the same, things.
That's hilarious. So, Vlad, DJ Vlad came on after her. This is what really pisses me off about DJ Vlad. He made his whole career on the backs of black people. And I wish black folks will stop going on his platform because he's a culture vulture.
To me, if you go on DJ Vlad, you're a snitch, period.
You are a snitch, and then months later you end up going to jail.
Ain't that so much? But I also feel like people who go on DJ Vlad need money because he pays them. Because if you look at Boosie, allegedly, he's on DJ Vlad every time after he comes on his Instagram, and he be telling people, if you want to book Boosie, can't hit the DMs. And then next thing you know, he's on Vlad talking about something because he got paid. Because he needed money. Yeah. Like, I don't really like DJ Vlad. And like you said, he is a culture cancer. Yeah, that's a shout out to Minion with Opinion. he's a culture cancer
Mhm.
for the Black community
That's a
because
great
he
descriptive word of him.
he exploits
Yep,
the Black community.
he
That's what
does.
he does for money.
Yep.
Did you? I mean, it's pretty horrifying listening to these testimonies. What did you make of what you just heard?
Well, Jaguar Wright is known to be a conspiracy theorist. I don't really co-sign anything that she says. I've never had her on my show, and I don't have any plans to have her on my show.
You don't believe her?
She's had an album in 20 years, and a lot of this stuff is just stuff she's heard, things she's making up, and so forth. I'm not saying that there aren't serious things that Diddy may have done, but yeah, I can't co-sign anything that Jaguar Wright is saying, if that's your question.
Well, I mean, obviously, since we last spoke, there have now been these charges against Diddy, which are incredibly serious. You didn't think at the time we last spoke that he was likely to face these charges. Are you surprised it's come to this?
I'm not surprised because I feel that law enforcement in general is reactionary. I think that when you look at high-profile individuals, their arrests, indictments usually come after a documentary, a big TV show, or in Diddy's case, it was this huge lawsuit that Cassie filed, and everyone got to see all the details and all the attention that came to it. So, yeah, it wasn't a surprise that it actually happened because you've seen this happen over and over again. R. Kelly, Harvey Weinstein, all the attention that they got, and then now Diddy. So, yeah, I mean, this is ultimately the world that we live in. But he'll have his day in court. And, his lawyer said that he's not going to take a plea deal because I think a plea deal at this point is probably going to be very heavy-handed, probably 20 years plus. So it makes sense for him to go to court. But we'll ultimately see what happens, because we haven't really seen, apart from some of the funny stuff of, there's 1 million bottles of lube that they found there. I'm sorry, 1,000 bottles of lube and so forth. We have yet to really see what the evidence is. And I think once we see the actual evidence, then people will actually formulate an opinion on what's happening right now.
Do you think there's a lot of people in the rap world in particular who are pretty fearful right now of where this may all lead? Is it a bit like the Epstein scandal, do you think?
I don't really think so because, ultimately, everyone wanted to go to Diddy's white parties when they were happening. If I got an invite, I would go. But there's a party within a party. There's the actual parties that big celebrities go to, the Howard Sterns and the Leonardo DiCaprios and so forth. You never hear of any of them really being involved in any of this stuff. They go home, at 2, 3 o'clock a.m. And then there's the private parties that seem to involve the sex workers and probably certain types of people that are kind of in an inner circle. No. And we'll see if those names ultimately come out or not. I think that when it comes to a situation like the feds, cooperating is a very big thing. And I think if Diddy cooperates and gives up some big names of actual crimes that they committed, that'd be a way of actually, lessening the amount of time that he does or possibly even walking away.
I mean, what did you heard about Diddy over the years? Obviously, people knew he had parties. They knew he was a big rap star and something, but
I'm going to pause it right there because I know he's saying a lot. And I just want to get your reaction on the things that he just said.
First of all, Jaguar Wright probably refused to come on your show, and that's why you're up here running your mouth about her, talking about you never will have her on your show. Because for me, you will have anybody on your show who is a part of the Black music industry or the Black culture, period. Because you don't bring your own up there and try to embarrass your own on your show. I don't be seeing any of your people on there.
Any Jewish executive,
okay, because this is the comment,
Jewish.
And will turn on you in a heartbeat. Say something about Jewish people, he coming for you.
Yeah.
This the other comment.
That's
too.
the anti-Semitic. You can't say anything to disagree with Jewish people or it's considered anti-Semitic. Well, I just don't agree what he's talking about.
Okay, he's part of the machine. I can't take into account what he says. Because for me, they sent him. Because did you hear what he said? Oh, well, I think that if Diddy gives us some high profile names and tells us what he does, what they did, then, he'll be able to, get out of this. They'll make out.
Yeah.
See, they sent him to tell Diddy what to do.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So for me, like I said, he's a culture cancer. Shout out to Minion with Opinion, because that's his thing. But he's a culture cancer for the Black community.
Yeah.
And like I said, Jaguar probably refused to come on his show because he only talks bad about you when you refuse to come on his show.
Yeah. Just like he did Marlon Wayne.
There you go. And so
Marlon Wayne said, hey, no, you got to pay me X amount of dollars. And he tried to discredit or play down Marlon Wayne's like he's not a beast in the industry.
Child.
Like his whole family made a whole bunch of people careers. You wouldn't have never heard of Jim Carrey, J-Lo, who else
I
can
mean,
I name?
everybody
Just
started out on their show, on their
everybody started off on Living
in
Color.
Living Color.
They created a whole bunch of stars. So he's trying to act like, oh, I would never invite you, and he's just he makes me sick to my stomach.
Like
He's a little bitch.
But for
Actually,
me, listen, this is advice to all of the Black people. I got two pieces of advice. Stop going on his show. Stop contributing to the tearing down of the Black community through this man's show. Stop going on his show.
yeah, stop.
Oh,
Stop
I
doing
got three
it.
pieces of advice. Second advice, people in our community, the Black community, stop watching him. I
Stop
don't even
watching.
watch him.
I don't
I
watch him
don't
either.
watch him. So stop watching him. Then the third piece of advice, if you are in need of money and you are going to go on his show, make sure you get paid. And I mean, when I say paid, I mean, he better pay you heavily, because why? Because he's going to benefit off of you over and over and over again by the views that he gets on the video. This man's video views are in the millions because of you, because of the Black community. But yet, tell me and show me where he has given back to the Black community.
Well, he doesn't give anything.
There
to the
you
Black
go.
community.
So
he doesn't give anything.
this is another case to where we give our money and don't get anything in return. Stop watching this man. He is a cancer, a culture cancer.
But the other thing that the beef that happened between DJ Vlad and Marlon Wayans. Okay, then he had Tony Yayo, which Tony Yayo is always on his show, and DJ Academics is always on DJ Vlad's show. They told him he needs to apologize to Marlon Wayans. I don't know if he's ever did it, but like you said, I wish Black folks stop appearing on this guy's show. He's a cancer. He's a cancer to the Black community. And we continue to feed him information about the Black community. His whole platform would not exist without Black folks. So we need to stop it.
And we do. And then he killed me when he said, well, Jaguar be making up things. I believe that he invites people on his show and lets them make up things, because he definitely doesn't fact check some of the things that these people be saying. Right. Because some of the things make no sense.
Well, he's probably mad. Like you said, Jaguar Wright probably denied going on his show. So he's probably mad that he didn't get the first interview or the insider information against Puff Daddy.
Yeah, because you know
he's
why?
Probably pissed off about that.
Yes, because normally people go on his show and he's like the breaking news of it or whatever. Yeah. He'll have an interview or exclusive premiere interview with this person. Y'all need to stop that. Y'all need to stop that. We need to stop tearing down each other. And we need to stop going on these people's shows. We need to go on, support us. If you're gonna go on somebody's show, support us. That's what I'm about. I'm about that. Because this is insane.
Well, I'm joined now by Ariel Mitchell-Kidd, who's a lawyer for one of Diddy's alleged victims. Thank you very much indeed for joining me. There are so many people coming forward now with allegations about Diddy. What do you think about the scale of this case?
Regarding the victims, there are victims coming out every day, even someone who contacted me last night. So, and it's only standing to be more individuals coming out. I do talk to some of the other attorneys who represent victims that we already have known because they filed cases, who have additional victims who plan to come forward, and they plan to file cases against very soon. So it's only a matter of how many more are going to come out. And it seems to be, it'll be very many more.
You've said that you've been contacted regarding the sale of one of the Diddy freak-off tapes, but it features a very high-profile celebrity. What can you tell us about that?
So actually, I recently was contacted by one of my business partners who's also an attorney who said to me, well, why are we not writing the demand letter to try to do the catch and kill? And I said, well, if you want to do it, then I'll connect you and you can essentially do it. He was also concerned about wanting to protect the other person who was in the film, mainly because I've known about this for about 3.5 weeks to about a month. I've been communicating with these people who purport to have that videotape. And it wasn't until Thursday night that they outright said, can you write on your letterhead a letter to the individual who's also in the tape and see if they're interested in a catch and kill? And is that something we'll give you X amount of percentage of it? And at the time I was like, I don't think I want to be involved in this, but I hadn't had time to process. But the other attorney I'm speaking of, he's pretty much been in the know the entire time since I first got contacted by these individuals with the tape. And we're pursuing now a meeting with the three of us for us to broker, I guess, a situation where we'll have certain guarantees that once we make the representations to the person in the tape, that we have some level of assurances that this is a valid tape.
And just to be clear, two thoughts about this. One, is it a household name that we're talking about here? And secondly, are they engaged in any criminality from what you understand?
Household name, very much so. More of a household name than Mr. Combs.
Wow,
And
really?
criminality, they are engaged in pornography. They're not doing anything illegal per se. I can't say that well, I'll say this. My concern was that I could not verify the age of the individual. And so that was my concern about not having anything sent to me and viewing it in the way that I did via stills, via FaceTime video. So I didn't want to have anything in my phone because my issue is we can't determine if this person is 17 to 21.
Right.
Did you hear that?
Mm-hmm.
So I know the rumor mill that everybody's throwing the Beyonce name out there. So I don't think it's Beyonce. I think it's somebody else. But she's saying this person might have been a minor at the time that this tape was videoed.
So, interesting. Very interesting. But they said they're more of a household name than Diddy.
Then Diddy, yeah.
More of a household name.
More of a household name.
That's
than
very
Diddy.
interesting.
Yeah.
My thing is with this videotape, so they're going to try to vet the tape and find out who the people are by approaching the person that they think it is.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So my thing is the person can lie and say it's not them.
Well, then the problem is if they lie and say it's not them, then they'll shop it to the highest bidder. Now you know TMZ was on trying to actually buy this tape.
Now TMZ have enough money, I believe, to do so. It's just going to be what that person who owns the video or has the video deems the worth of that video.
Well, and I believe the person, the lawyers, reason why they're using the word catch and kill. Catch and kill is basically killing a story. So if this is a household name, and if I'm saying it's not me, okay, then why would I buy a tape that's not me? But the lawyer's perspective is we have some moral, I guess our moral duty and obligation is to go to the person to make sure that in any way they're not being exposed or blackmailed, what have you. And one of the insurances, I believe that the lawyer will say, hey, how do we know that this is the only tape? You know, so number one, have a valid tape. This is not AI or anything that you conjured up. And number two, this is the only tape.
Right.
So
I think that this, you know, is it a Kardashian? Because they are a household name now.
And that's what
they are bigger than Diddy.
That's what I was thinking. Maybe it's
Listen,
one of the Kardashians.
then this thing, if this person is between the ages of 17 and 21, anything below 18 is a minor. And when's the tape, the evidence for the police? So you're going to catch and kill and possibly wipe out a piece of evidence for a potential victim.